Alright, final one for today, Sony. Let me grab my notes. Started out with some sort of weird astronauts on Mars. I thought it was a new game at first, but nope, it turned out to be Destiny. And also it looks pretty cool. However, I don't know how much of it is like really online focused, so I don't really know if I'll be getting into it. I'll be getting plenty of opportunities to try it out though, as the Destiny beta will be arriving on July 17th on PlayStation consoles. And coming this Thursday through Sunday, I believe, an exclusive alpha for Destiny for PS4 owners. So they are definitely giving you plenty of chances to try it out. They are also launching, whenever Destiny launches, I think in September, they're bringing out a white PlayStation 4 bundle with Destiny and 30 days of PlayStation Plus. So if you don't have a PlayStation 4 yet and Destiny looks pretty cool to you, then that is the bundle to get. After that, they showed a little more of The Order 1886, which should have been coming out this fall, but has been delayed until 2015, sadly. It looks pretty decent. Graphics are awesome. But the gameplay was kind of lots of cutscenes and then some QuickTime events thrown in there. It kind of looked like a shooter-ish Heavy Rain. So I think that's definitely could be interesting. Then they showed a new game called Entwined. It's an indie game. Some sort of you know how in Nintendo Land, when you're playing the Animal Crossing game, you have to steer the town guards with like the two analog sticks, and you do it separately. That's how you control the two. What were they? Birds, I believe, in Entwined, and you have to steer them through obstacles and all that stuff. Looked pretty decent, and it's actually available right now on PS4 for $10. So I'd say that might be worth checking out. Then they showed the Infamous logo. I started freaking the hell out. Because Infamous Second Son DLC was rumored well before E3, and I was like, oh, we're finally going to get to see the Infamous Second Son DLC. And it's actually not so much DLC, it's a standalone game like Infamous Festival of Blood was. And it's called Infamous First Light. So it's kind of a contrast with the Second Son. And you play as Fetch, a character from Second Son who protagonist Delsin gets his neon powers from. I thought that was pretty interesting. They also said if you own both Second Son and First Light, you will get exclusive content for Second Son or something. I'm kind of curious as to what that is. Because I thought, okay, maybe the DLC will have you playing as Delsin and you can absorb some new powers that then carry over to the main game. But since you're not playing as Delsin, kind of curious as to what the extra content is going to be. Although I probably would have preferred a spin-off of Eugene from Second Son more. I thought he was a more interesting character with a more interesting power set. But sure, this works. It's coming out in August, I believe they said, so that's fairly soon. I'm sure as hell looking forward to it. Up next, a game that I don't really know if people saw it coming or not, but it's a new exclusive. Not a new franchise, though. It's LittleBigPlanet 3. And it's coming out this November, so they actually do have an exclusive for later this year. And basically it's the same old LittleBigPlanet stuff, create levels and platform through them, but they have some new character types for you to work with. In LBP 1 and 2, all you had was Sackboy. Now they have 3 others. A bird who can basically fly through the levels, some sort of dog thing that can wall jump and run really fast, and some fat guy who looked like Grimace from McDonald's who can pretty much activate like pressure plates and scales and weights and all that sort of stuff, and he can also shrink himself down so he can fit through small passageways. So that'll definitely give people lots of fuel to make interesting levels with. And all created levels from LittleBigPlanet 1 and 2 will carry over and be playable in LittleBigPlanet 3, so that is also very nice. Completely new IP was up next, introduced by some Asian guy. I completely misunderstood the name of the game at first because Asian guy no speaky English. It was made by From Software, who I've never heard of before, but people on Facebook told me that they're the people behind the Dark Souls games. And it turned out the game was called Bloodborne as soon as the logo showed up. And it's coming in 2015. It looked kind of horror-ish, like dead bodies and zombies and stuff getting cut apart and lots of blood. It was pretty messy, but it could be pretty good. Next was Far Cry 4, which we saw at Ubisoft's conference already, but for some reason Ubisoft decided to save the gameplay for Sony's conference and show a cinematic trailer themselves. And I haven't played Far Cry 3, it's still on my to-play list, but Far Cry 4 looked pretty damn awesome. Graphics were great, lots of shit blowing up, vehicular mayhem. There was a part where you had to wear a wingsuit and glide down a mountain, and then you attack a fort, and there were some elephants nearby, and they got agitated or something, and they ran into the fort and started knocking over jeeps and stuff. It was awesome. If Far Cry 3 is anything like that, I am going to put that in my PS3 as soon as possible. And also, there's some sort of co-op thing in Far Cry 4 that if you have Far Cry 4 on your PS4, then you can play with anyone even if they don't have Far Cry 4. That is really intriguing, I think. Up next was some sort of... Well, it was kind of this trailer of this guy just strolling down like a beach, and there's zombies all around him all of a sudden. And the trailer was funny as hell. Guy's not giving a shit, just jogging while people are dying and buildings are blowing up. And then he turns into a zombie as well, and it was revealed that it's Dead Island 2. Never played the first one, but trailer was pretty damn funny. I could have sworn I heard Jack Black in there. And whenever Jack Black is in something, it's usually pretty damn intriguing. Let's see. Oh yes, a cinematic trailer for Battlefield Hardline, which we saw gameplay of during the EA conference already. I didn't really get the point of this, because, come on, we saw a gameplay already. Do we need a cinematic trailer? Also, the beta for that was pretty much made available as soon as the EA conference ended. So people are actually playing the game already. Do we really need a cinematic trailer at that point? Let's see, there's also some exclusive content for Disney Infinity 2, that game where you buy all the really expensive minifigures and then do stuff with them. I don't know, I swore I would not get into that shit because I saw what those figures cost in shops, like $10 a piece, and there's like dozens of them. So that's a wallet-draining game if I've ever seen one. Destiny will also be getting a shit ton of exclusive content, and Microsoft can definitely take notes here, because this content will remain exclusive, unlike all the temporarily exclusive DLC for like Call of Duty and Dragon Age and Evolve that Microsoft just pretty much plopped bags of money at the developers for. Let's see, showing off some indies, some game called Magica 2, I've never even heard of Magica 1, so nothing there really. A remastering of the classic adventure game Grim Fandango, I've also never heard of that. A whole bunch of indies that look like Atari 2600 games for some reason, I'm not sure what's up with that. Oh yeah, then an exclusive game for the PS4 made by Suda51. You may know him from such games as No More Heroes and Lollipop Chainsaw. The guy's batshit insane, and it kinda looked like, well, let's say people were getting bashed in the head with morning stars and meat hooks, and it was bloody as shit. Appropriately called Let It Die. Exclusively on PS4 in 2015, so that's pretty interesting. Up next, an indie game I can actually get excited about. They showed this last year at some event, I believe. It's called No Man's Sky. Basically, you start out on a planet and you can explore the planet and get in a spaceship and then just fly off into space and go explore other planets. And the game will pretty much keep creating new planets and environments for you to explore while you play it. According to the developers, it was an endless game. And it looked hella impressive. I am definitely buying that day one. Let's see, after that, there was also a stealth jab at Microsoft from one of the Sony CEOs that I thought was awesome. They were basically talking about the PlayStation Eye camera thing that you use for the Playroom or something. And they said, we've offered the PlayStation camera to you as a choice. Unlike the Kinect camera, which was forced onto everyone who wanted to buy an Xbox One. Sony, you never fail to amaze me when it comes to stealth jabs at Microsoft. They also talked about the virtual reality headset Project Morpheus thing that they're developing. I don't really care for virtual reality, but it might be pretty cool. And then they showed some games for it, well, just posters of games, and I saw this dinosaur game and I was like, holy shit, I have to have this. We need more dinosaur games. Let's see, then they started talking about YouTube coming to PS4, and you can upload clips with the share button directly to YouTube or something, so prepare for PS4 game videos on YouTube to become even more overcrowded than they already are. Just what I needed. More people hogging my spotlight. They kind of started to drift away from the games here, and I was kind of getting alarmed. They were kind of making some of the mistakes that Microsoft made last year. Like talking about TV, and not games. Talk about their streaming service PlayStation Now for a bit. It'll be available in the US and Canada July 31st. No date given for Europe, how typical. And a little bit of trying to push the PlayStation Vita for like remote play for the PS4 and all that stuff. And they're bringing the PlayStation Vita TV out of Japan, which you can use to play PlayStation Vita titles on your TV. But not the ones that rely heavily on the Vita's capabilities, like Uncharted Golden Abyss and Gravity Rush, which happen to be the only two Vita games I care about playing. They were kind of getting close to the end of the show, I believe, and they showed off Mortal Kombat X, or Mortal Kombat 10, whatever. They showed Scorpion and Sub-Zero fighting each other in pretty neat looking environments, and they showed some new characters. Some sort of midget riding a big monkey guy, and some sort of lady controlling bees or wasps or whatever, sprouting all these bug limbs from her body. They were pretty interesting new characters. Although I feel they kind of clash with the characters we already know and love from Mortal Kombat. But whatever, I'll definitely be picking that up day one, because Mortal Kombat is one of my favorite fighting games, even though I can't play it at all. I suck at it. But I like the story, probably be LPing it somewhere down the line. So yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, that was when I started getting really alarmed. I was like, okay, this conference is about to end. Show Uncharted 4 already. And no, they're announcing a TV show based on some graphic novel coming to PlayStation Network later this year or whatever. I was like, come on! Don't go down the TV road. Microsoft did that last year and see where that got them. They also showed a bit of the Ratchet & Clank movie, which is coming out next year. I like Ratchet & Clank. I think it could be a pretty cool movie. I'll definitely go and see it. But come on, give me Uncharted 4 already. Or a new God of War, or a new Starhawk or something. Anything. Then they showed The Last of Us Remastered with a pretty long and extensive trailer for a game that's been out for a year and most people have played already. I don't really get the point of doing that, to be quite honest. But they did give a release date, at least July 29th. And then they showed a long-ass trailer for Metal Gear Solid 5, which looked pretty good, but also had some gruesome things in it. Go and look it up for yourself. And then, what people have been speculating for ages finally happened. Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming to PlayStation 4. No word yet on if it's coming to Xbox One or not. That would be pretty cool if GTA 4 suddenly becomes a PS4 exclusive. Also showed a little bit of Batman Arkham Knight, which I'm not really a fan of the Batman games, but I will say the open world looked pretty damn impressive. Also, the Batman stuff was actual gameplay, not a cinematic trailer, so that's something. And then they pretty much said, okay, we have one more thing to show you, and it was Uncharted 4. More specifically, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Which kind of scares me, because that makes it sound like Uncharted 4 is going to be the final Uncharted game. Makes it sound like Drake's going to die at the end of it. Speaking of Drake, he looked fantastic, never looked better. Best graphics out of the entire damn conference. Hell, maybe best graphics yet. Holy shit, it looked great. No gameplay though, that was a bit of a bummer. But at least we finally got to see some footage. So yeah, Uncharted 4 is coming in 2015, sadly. Still quite a while away. So, as far as exclusives go, all we have to go off of the rest of this year is The Last of Us remake. And then there's Drive Club, which was mysteriously absent. I I really thought they were gonna at least show that at some point. And the surprising LittleBigPlanet 3, which I'm not really sure if I'm gonna pick that up yet. I'm not really that big a LittleBigPlanet guy, to be quite honest. But yeah, Sony, I'd say they had a pretty good showing. I would have loved to see more of the big exclusive games that they're making themselves, because we still don't know what Sony Santa Monica is working on, the team behind most of the God of War games, and Starhawk, and PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, and I think Twisted Metal. They're apparently working on something. They have been working on something since last year, but they're still not showing anything. Maybe at Gamescom. I think they announced some new games at Gamescom as well, usually, which is in about 2 months, and I will be attending that personally, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, as far as ranking the conferences go, I would definitely put Sony at number 1 for now. Despite the half hour they wasted on the TV crap and the TV show and the streaming and the virtual reality and all that stuff, I would probably put Ubisoft second, because Far Cry 4 and Assassin's Creed 5 look hype as hell. EA third, and Microsoft, I just have to put them dead last because of just the lack of new games, the lack of surprising games, the lack of actual gameplay. I mean, what actual gameplay did they show at Microsoft? Just some Halo 2 footage for multiplayer, I believe. And that was about it. So all that remains now is Nintendo tomorrow. Smash Brothers will definitely be showing up. I'm hoping for F-Zero, Star Fox, new Metroid Prime. They said there's going to be a new Zelda. I don't particularly care much about Zelda, but F-Zero, Star Fox, Metroid. Come on, Nintendo, make it happen. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.